It's a beautiful spring morning, and I thought it would be a good time to do an early spring garden tour. This is my first tree that blooms in the spring. It's a Dr. Merrill Magnolia, and it smells so nice. My autumn joy sedum is already all emerged and looks like pretty little green clumps. And the tulips that I planted from last year, these are my last year's tulips that I had in the pots, and I've planted them in ground, and all the foliage is coming out and the buds are starting to form. I made a video on planting my tulips in pots in winter, and here they are. This is what they're looking like. Here's one of our Japanese maples. This one is called Orange Dream, and it's already starting to leaf out. In this bed here, I have some geranium coming up, as well as some lungwort. It's already starting to put on a little bloom head. That clump back there is some columbine. It's a really pretty blue-purple color. Here I have an magnolia, and it is the first year that it actually has some good buds on it. I bought this as a clearance plant, so it took some time to recover. These two shrubs here are a japonica Pieris plant, and that one has been in this spot for a couple of years, so it's in bloom at the moment. The variety is Impish Elf by Monrovia. I also have some hellebore. There are 4 here that I just got last year, so they're not yet too established, so they're not putting on too many blooms. But this one's really pretty. These are the wedding party variety, and that one is called Confetti Cake. Clumps here I've had for a few years, and I believe the variety is Ivory Prince. Here I have some more ground cover. This is a gold lamium, and I also have some burgundy glow ajuga that's just now starting to come up from winter. This one does die back a little bit. Here's a clump of my bleeding hearts. This variety is pink, and it's starting to just now emerge. I have a ground cover geranium in front of the lighthouse. I'm going to look up the variety and I can put it up on the screen. This is a Korean lilac, and it's just starting to put on its buds. Some daffodils, and in the back there is a rhododendron that blooms pink. I have some astilbe that's starting to come up as well. Here is a clump of columbine that I started from bare root last year, so this is the first year that it's gonna bloom. And some mini daffodils. I also have 2 purple hyacinths that I just kind of stuck in here, and it looks like they're happy. See that all my lupin that I planted last year is starting to come back. My nepeta is also starting to green up, so I have to cut away all this dead foliage. And all my iris has sent up some fresh greenery. I haven't cleaned my beds yet, but that's next on the list. I bought this shrub last spring. It's a dwarf Cryptomeria nana lutea, and it has such a beautiful color. It's a miniature version of a hinoki cypress. Some more clumps of lupin, and I just love the way that this foliage looks. When it rains, it holds onto the raindrops, and it looks so pretty. This little red shrub, this is a winner in a garden. It's a double play candy corn Spirea, and look at this spring foliage. It's bright red, and then it'll turn bright yellow and put on these little clusters of pink flowers. This is a dwarf variety. It only gets about 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. This is my Sem False Spirea. This is an absolutely beautiful spring shrub. I'll insert a photo of what it looks like once it's all leafed out. It's just starting now. It's different shades of pink and yellow and green. I actually have a friend who has a channel here on YouTube. She's great. You should check her out. Janey at Dig Plant Water Repeats. I'll link her down below. But she saw one of these in my video, and she actually recently planted one. So you can check out how it grows here in New England, as well as in Northern California over on Janey's channel. One thing I can say about this plant that might be a con is that it does send out lots of runners. So if it's something that you don't want to deal with, it does have the tendency to maybe be invasive. I found the runners easy enough to pull out, but if that's something that you're not wanting to do, then you might want to avoid it. But otherwise, it's beautiful. The update on my tulips and pots. They're starting to fill out and even putting on some buds. I hope these get a lot taller. Here are the tulips that I planted along my walkway. They're also filling in nicely. I have some clumps of foxglove that are going to bloom this year. These were started last summer. The variety is Apricot Beauty. And a little further down in the middle of the bed, I have another candy corn Spirea. If you're looking for Spirea, that variety is great for a small space. I just love how bright this foliage is. Here I have some allium that is going to come up soon. This is a purple sensation allium, and I have quite a few in this bed. They're really pretty flowers in the spring. And I'm happy to see all the new foliage on my iris. I do still have to clean those up. All the peonies have their eyes already up above the soil. I have some more tulips in pots. These are a little further behind than the others. And again, in this bed I have some daffodils. These are a late blooming variety, so they're just starting to emerge now. And this gold carex in the front of the bed stays like this all winter, so it's evergreen for me. It's a really beautiful option to get some yellow color in your beds. It almost looks like a grass. Clumps of Munstead lavender here, and it has this really pretty bluish, almost like a gray color. I leave it up all winter, and so right now I'm getting about ready to cut it back and fertilize it. And I can see that it already has some new foliage emerging inside at the base. I've been really happy with these. I started them from seed and they seem to be happy. These are my apricot whirl daffodils, and they come up right after the Ice Follies and Ice King, and they're absolutely beautiful. They're a true apricot. Last year was the first time that these daffodils bloomed for me. I planted them in the fall of 2020, and they are beautiful varieties. I have two varieties mixed here, and I'll get in closer to show you. But they are Ice King and Ice Follies. The Ice Follies is what you're looking at now. Those have like a cup in the middle with the bloom petals around the sides, and the Ice King is a fluffy double variety. In the middle of these, I've interplanted them with some creeping phlox. That's a light purple color. You can actually already see the bloom heads forming on this one. Thank you for joining me on this early spring tour. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.